Hey guys, Dylan here from Splattercast. Just wanted to hit you with a nice little supplemental video for you here on Wednesday. Just something fun I wanted to do since we did grace you guys with episode 9 of Splattercast on Monday, going over the lovely film Dog Soldiers. In celebration of that, and in celebration really of the 4K release coming out just the week prior, I did finally get my hands on it. My Amazon copy did arrive. I've got it right here. I did get a chance to watch it and kind of go through everything new. What I tried to accomplish, or what I'm trying to accomplish here, is just giving you guys basically a little tiny review, just something quick of the 4K itself. In my research of the film, it was kind of surprising to me to realize that the film was kind of maligned when it came out on Blu-ray originally from Scream Factory here. As you can see, I still have my copy. I have not gotten rid of it just yet. I will be selling it off, though, just because I have what is now considered the superior version. And yeah, I figured I would do just a little bit of a review for you and just kind of compare editions. And I mean, it's really no secret that yeah, if you've listened to the podcast or you know anything about Dog Soldiers, is that they did not have the original film negatives when they initially went to upgrade this film, and there was some controversy there. Neil Marshall did everything in his power to kind of make it as good of a copy as he could, but unfortunately they were just working with cinema prints, which are not going to get you the clearest image. But just a couple years ago, it looks like they got their hands on those original film negatives and were able to restore it to the version that we have now. And I can just tell you right off the bat, watching this movie for now the fourth time in 2 weeks, this is definitely the definitive version. Any 4K upscale or any release now, I would say, because they also have the German release, which looks amazing. The cover art's great, but I personally just didn't want to spend $60 on it. But I mean, if you're a hardcore collector, I completely get it. This, on the other hand, though, is still just as good. You're getting a fantastic transfer. I mean, it just looks completely different. I have a couple of side-by-side comparison stills here. These are not my stills. I didn't really have a way of grabbing those. So these are coming from the Digital Bits. This is a website that I found that actually had some decent imagery. I kind of had to blow them up for the stream to fit StreamYard here. So the quality does take a little bit of a dip, but really what I want to pay attention here is just the change in color. Because if you look here, I'm just going to go through these bit by bit, but you can really see an uptick in color. Now, as the ones over here to my right are a little bit more washed out, a little brighter, that is the original Blu-ray. But if you look over on the other side here on the left, you can see those darks. You can see the lake doesn't look nearly as washed out, and you can still see the same thing here. I think this is the best shot to represent it. Like, look at those greens on the fatigues and everything. They just look so much richer, so much darker. The foliage behind it, you can really see just kind of how it all mats together instead of looking all washed out like you have here on the right. And it is clear as day. When you pop this 4K in, you're going to be able to see this right off the rip. And I was super stunned because I personally, and I even said it on the podcast, never really saw that bad. I didn't think the transfer was that bad, but it's just something that I never had any of the other editions of the film. So I just assumed that, that because I knew the film at the time was shot on 16 and blown up to 35, I just assumed that's what we got. Like, that's just how it was. But I didn't realize that we weren't working with the original film negative when we got this Scream Factory Blu-ray. But now moving up to the 4K, I mean, that's night and day. I mean, you can really see just the color tones are much more balanced. The darkness is like not as hardcore. It's kind of like really just, balanced nicely, where you can see the lights coming in behind her. Her hair looks a lot better. And I mean, just the skin tone. She doesn't look nearly as washed out. You can actually see the color in her eyes, and it's not just darkness. So, I mean, this is kind of what you get when you get that original film negative. And this, again, you can see all the detail in that gore, which was completely washed out in the Blu-ray release. So, I mean, yeah, you're getting a lot here. You're getting a good bang for your buck. This thing cost me only about $25, which is great considering, most of these things, when it comes to getting a 4K nowadays, you're looking at upwards of $30 to $35, which is a little too rich for my blood. I mean, most new movies are standing at $29.99 in the store, which I just think is crazy. I don't want to pay that immediately for something like that, but this is a special movie to me. I enjoy werewolf films. I think they're great. American Werewolf is still my favorite, but this is definitely in the top 5. I think that it's a great film, and it has a lot of creativity, and definitely something that I think any werewolf fan or any horror fan in general should definitely have on their shelves. And now that we can have it in its most pristine, director recommended way, I think it's no brainer that you should pick this thing up. I was really impressed with it. There are some updated commentaries on here. You're getting, again, the Werewolves versus Soldiers documentary, which is just an hour in and of itself, and it is fantastic. And it's really just something that I would say, if you own Dog Soldiers already on Blu-ray, if you own the Shout Factory Blu-ray, this is a no-brainer. Upgrade this bad boy, because even the Blu-ray in and of itself, and I can show you right now, just because I have both versions, you can see this right here is the original Blu-ray. So that's the art and everything for it. This is the updated Blu-ray. So they're not just changing the art on this. This is still pulled from the original film negative. So when you throw this bad boy in there, it's going to be updated. And I mean, whether you're, an adopter of 4K or not, you still get that upgrade on that Blu-ray. So I think it's a no-brainer here. I mean, this isn't really me going too in-depth other than just wanting to show some comparisons. If you know how I feel about the film just from listening to our podcast, you know that I enjoy this one. I'm a huge fan. It's definitely a recommendation for me. And just sitting here for the last couple days with this 4K, I can say that this is definitely worth the upgrade. I would highly recommend picking it up if you don't own it, and picking up this edition, like I said, because it's the best possible quality you're going to get. Now, the only thing that I will say is just something I did mention on the podcast as well, is that if you're looking for that crisp, absolute crystal clear imagery, again, the film was blown up from 16 millimeter to 35, so you're not going to get the completely grainless, free fluid motion that you'd be looking for in like a modern day 4K. You're just not going to get it. It's just not possible. But I still think that the little bits of grain still go a long way to add to this movie. It's a gritty soldiers versus werewolves type film, all taking place in a forest and in a little house out on the moors. So, I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I think it fits the aesthetic perfectly. But from what we're able to get, it is impressive. It is completely impressive. And I'm just going to say it again. Like, I think that, in the letter that we read on Splattercast from Neil Marshall, he stated that film preservation is not a huge thing over in the UK. It absolutely should be, because this is just one of those movies that I would be so upset if we never got this transfer in its completion. And if they never did find that film negative. I mean, I appreciate the work that they did with the Scream Factory Blu-ray originally, but this to me is just such a treat, and I'm really happy to have it. And like I said, a full recommendation from me here on this 4K transfer. So if you have not picked it up, or you're thinking about picking it up and you just want another opinion, you've got my full seal of approval. This thing's awesome. This is definitely going to be my main version of the film. Whenever I throw this bad boy on, I am going to be watching this updated version. So yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up here for me on Splattercast here. Like I said, just a quick little supplemental video for you. If you have not yet checked out our podcast for Dog Soldiers, I highly recommend it. It went up on Monday, so it is on the channel for your viewing pleasure, as well on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever else your podcasts are found. If you do want to keep up with us, you can follow us on Twitter at SplattercastPod. We're always posting things on there, updated new videos. We also just had a review this week for our Thing NECAs. We got the SDCC exclusive ones, and we kind of, both Luke and I were able to give our opinions and thoughts on that. So it was a pretty fun video to do. I'm hopefully going to be doing a few more of those as we go along here, because we are huge NECA fans. We love them. And yeah, I mean, that's going to about wrap it up for me here, guys. So definitely enjoy Werewolf Wednesday. Check out Dog Soldiers if you have not. If it's been a while, check it out for sure. And yeah, like I said, if you don't own the film, pick up this 4K. It's totally worth it.